Now on to the company that normally results in the most awkward moments during E3, Ubisoft. Though admittedly they did pretty well. This year I decided to give Ubisoft a 5 out of 7, and if you'd like to know why, you'll understand when I talk about the presentation. They opened the press conference with Just Dance 2019. Had the whole live dance routine we were pretty used to, as well as a band. I think this was actually the best way to open the conference, as it was high energy, but also got the game out of the way so that it doesn't invade on the mood of other games. So I actually think they made the best decision here, and I respect them for that. Next they showed a new Beyond Good and Evil 2 trailer that was wholly cinematic. It went a bit into story details, but unfortunately I didn't recognize any of the characters nor the situations they were in. Still looked engaging to an outsider such as myself. The directors got on stage a little bit to talk about the game, claimed it was co-op playable, and showed off some pre-alpha footage, which in my opinion looked pretty good for pre-alpha. They also announced a partnership with Hit Record to give artists and musicians a chance to get their works in the game. I'm a little bit skeptical because I'm worried of the more malicious intents, but it's great that they're opening up the game to the community. They spent a short bit on Rainbow Six Siege talking about their player numbers, asking people to get into the game, then talk about their esports league. The most interesting part, however, is the documentary that they are creating that is focused on esports players, though that was it. Then they announced Trials Rising, a new Trials game that emphasizes finding creative ways to crash your biker. The gameplay looks similar to the older Trials games, but of course the game thrives on the variety of its levels rather than gameplay alone. Closed beta is coming soon and will be released for all consoles. Division 2 was shown next, and they elaborated more on the features of the game. When you create your character, you can choose different weapon specifications that will lead you to unique weapons, tools, and skills. They will be adding raid modes to the game where 8 players can join the game, and the story mode will be released in DLC episodes, all of which are free. The little gameplay they showed didn't impress me too much as it all looked pre-rendered. The game looks like a big improvement over the first, and hopefully we'll continue to see that. They then had a short portion about the Donkey Kong DLC from Mario Rabbids. The most interesting part was the live music performance by Grant Kirkhope, as the gameplay looked all pre-rendered unfortunately. Next, Skull and Bones got a trailer featuring the premise of the game, where pirates have become overly oppressed by the government and are starting to lose power. The game itself is entirely multiplayer, and it seems you have a lot of customization and features available to it. This extends to crafting parts of your ship to take advantage of these abilities. While you're on the seas, you can get a crow's nest view to see far out and lock onto targets. Disguises can be used to fool enemies into false security and avoid combat with naval bases. Combat is mainly about firing cannons and ramming your opponents, but you can also board your opponent's ship. However, this is a seamless transition rather than a playable section. Gameplay shown was very convincing and gets me hyped for the game. I'm a little bit wary of the forced multiplayer, but I think it could result in an interesting game. Transference was concerning. It's the thriller game being created by Elijah Woods. The game seems to revolve around a father trapping his son inside of a corrupted program. That's all I could gather. Looks interesting, but it's obvious they are trying to keep this game's story a mystery. Then Starlink got a spotlight and had a new trailer shown. It featured an equal amount of story and gameplay. Something that surprised me was that it's supposed to be open world, though what surprised me most was the Star Fox crossover with the game that's exclusive to Nintendo Switch owners. Even as a Nintendo fanboy, I can't say this convinced me to get the game, but I will definitely keep an eye on it. However, on Uplay, For Honor Starter Edition will be free this week only. Generous of them to do, but it's also in the hopes that people will buy their expansion when it releases. They ended the conference with Assassin's Creed Odyssey. The trailer had a good mixture of cinematics, gameplay, and story. There are 2 characters you can play as, and we got a decent look at the other features. Combat was shown of course, but they also gave us a glimpse at dialogues in the menu system, which holds information for weapons, armor, items, and your skill tree. Sailing also returns and allows you to traverse between different lands. I was glad that most of the gameplay they showed looked legitimate, as their past press conferences seemed to rely on very scripted gameplay. In all honesty, this Assassin's Creed looks fine, but they still haven't taken a hint to stop making it a yearly release, as it is very oversaturated. Ubisoft's press conference was good, all things considered. There were some oddities like the mics sometimes being on while people were off stage, and the general awkwardness of some of the announcers. However, I think Ubisoft this year had a modest performance, and I only hope they improve in future years. Thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments what game from the Ubisoft conference you are most excited for. Please leave a like if you enjoyed and subscribe if you'd like to see more content. See y'all next time. Bye bye!